Welcome back to the WGLNA Season 1 Gold League. I'm your host, Christian Toma. To my left is David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. As always, guys, if you're not watching this on battleviewer.com, go over there right now and check it out. And finally, follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the community around you.
You can also answer our question of the day on Twitter, which is, who do you think, or who is your choice for League MVP?
That's right. I said just knee-jerk reaction because the man that I always hear all the time, and some of the man I've been most impressed with on his artillery plays, it's Ox Mathis. For me, David, who is it for you?
Not to Killzor. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
it's to Killzor.
It's definitely
and as I
Killzor.
previously discussed, it pains me just to make that sentence for those words that come out of my mouth.
Well, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know what your thoughts are right now. Match number 2 is ready to get underway. We've got 07 versus Simp for the side of 07. We've got Meadowhawk for the side of Simp. We've got Mac G. Gentlemen, welcome to the face-off.
Good evening.
Good evening indeed. Now, Meadowhawk, we're going to go ahead and start with you. Just being on 07, it's what you guys been seeing so far in the season. What are your just general thoughts about this Gold League?
It's been a roller coaster of a ride for us. We started off great. We were having, had a dazzling time in the first, part of the season. And then after that, we started, we lost a bunch of games. And, it's quite a bit of a rude awakening. And we were starting to think that the game is rigged. So, our big cheese Foster kid, he gave us a lot of flack.
Oh my gosh.
It didn't really eclipse our goal of making the playoff position.
Yeah.
Our playoff spot was never out of sight.
Okay, there it is.
And when it comes to playoffs, the Comps and his crew really did a slick win against our #RU to get us in there. So overall, it's been ups and downs for us.
Well, I'm glad you guys have finally found your synergy.
Ho-ho!
Nailed it.
Okay, you better. Okay,
people last time were like, leave him hanging. All right, so great answer.
that was the best. Yeah, that's a fantastic
Great answer.
We got Mac G even
Jeff
smiling
Bridges. I mean, Meadowhawk. Okay, so if you could, no, wait, wrong question. All right, so with the season coming to a close, is there anything you would like to say to your fans?
Our fans have been great this year. The input I've gotten and the feedback I've gotten from, my face-offs and all the interviews I've done, like the one there with Starshield, he was a great sport with that, has been great. And, I'm glad people are watching the Present Arms, the coverage that I'm trying to set, get out every week. And it's nice. It's nice that, we have a viewership that's loyal and,
Absolutely.
interacts with us.
Absolutely. I mean, thank you guys so much again for putting out those videos. They're fantastic. They're fun to watch. And again, such an amazing response there. Meadowhawk, I have had you on my team every time 07 is playing. It is no different tonight. You were on my team, sir. Now, let's go over to
I should
Mac.
play tonight.
Oh, there we go. I'm happy, even happier. Mac G, going to go over and start with you. Now, what has been your guys' favorite part of the season so far?
Our favorite part, for us as a team has been, pretty much getting to know each other. This is a team that was put together right before the season started, and we've enjoyed experiencing and learning from each other and learning more about each other and our personalities, and doing even tournaments outside of the Gold League and having fun just playing together outside of the Gold League, doing other stuff too on top of it.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad the cohesion factor, as you guys have been saying, seems to keep going up, and I hope the best that continues to progress as the season, and just as you guys play together in the future. That's always good to hear.
All right, Mac, will we see you or laps around next season at all in terms of like a capacity on Simp?
Definitely. I think Laps and I are both, we care too much about the game. We spend all our computer resources on tanks rather than getting my camera to work properly.
That shows your dedication, sir.
Yeah. So, we're gluttons for punishment when it comes to our involvement in tanks. It'll be hard to get us away.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you guys so much for all you guys do, and excited to hear that we'll be seeing you in the upcoming seasons. Now, before we get into the match, Meadowhawk, any words for Mac G and Simp before we get started?
Well, I don't want to sound too abrasive or, be militant about this, but it's going to be a serious lapse in judgment if they underestimate us. I mean, we're not going to be static. We're going to be the aggressor.
Yeah.
And it should pretty good photo finish.
Mac G, your response.
That was an impressive list of
That
names. That was an impressive list of you had going on there, and I wish you guys the best of luck tonight and in all your future matches.
There you go, gentlemen. Best of luck to both of you. We'll see you guys soon. And here we go. Here's a crazy fact. Meadowhawk did that off the cuff. That was not even pre-planned. That's what's mind-blowing. Right?
Nope.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Crush my dreams.
Match
Crush
at
my
hand.
dreams.
For all the shenanigans that we've
That's
just
right.
had. That was fantastic. This is a very important match.
Yeah.
For a number of people, not just for 07 and Simp, who both need it to essentially kind of secure their playoff spot.
Okay.
But it also matters to teams like Synergy, who I believe, remember right, it's still a pretty convoluted web of relationships right now of matches. I believe that 07 has to beat Simp in order for Synergy to have a chance. And I believe that's also true for #RU, but I do know that if Simp wins, it pretty much means Synergy and #RU are out.
Wow.
Of playoffs.
Well, while we keep talking about, let's pull up the rosters so you guys can take a look at the teams that you know, the players you know and love. Again, nothing has changed. Our final week of the season. And David, is this looking like a team where can tiebreaker wins be good, or do they want just an? I mean, is it a make or break deal getting a tiebreaker tonight between these two teams, 07 and Simp, or do they need an all out just win?
That is a very good question. I believe. If it goes to a tiebreaker, then it brings back the chance of #RU, I think. But I think Synergy is still out of it in that instance. I ran this mostly on the chances of who's actually going to win. But if it comes down to an equal number of points between 07, #RU, and Simp in that situation, then it basically means that 07 advances because they beat the other two in head-to-heads.
Wow, well, that's going to be an exciting matchup indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, our second match is ready. 07 versus Simp. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
For 07, a 5100, 2 IS-3s, a 1390, 2 T-54 lightweights, and an MT-25 on the offensive side of Ruinberg, which everybody apparently wants to play today.
Yep.
Simp on defense with the 5100, 4 IS-3s, and 2 LTTBs.
Well, I guess technically they don't want to play it. That was the tiebreaker match, so maybe they wouldn't, have chosen specific our last thing that we saw in here.
Oh,
but
yeah, fair enough.
But going into the battle at hand, David, looking at you, kind of, if 07 were to lose this all out, or if Simp were to lose this all out, would that absolutely just shut down their chances of making it into the playoffs?
Simp should still make it, and I believe 07 is locked in the playoffs anyways. Right now in battle, I don't actually have all the standings breakdowns in front of me, but from what I remember, I believe both teams are virtually guaranteed inside the playoffs unless some really crazy things go down in other battles.
Sure, which could happen.
Right.
That's the fear.
Teams like Noble, basically the Noble and Synergy match is going to have a high impact. And then the Refuse and #RU match will also have a very high impact on the rest of the teams as well.
Okay.
But obviously that one's a little bit more about Refuse, because if Refuse beats #RU, then they guarantee their second space, so they guarantee a playoff bye, which is nothing to scoff at, honestly. It's super important.
Right. So, I mean, really, this is going to mean huge for both these teams, just for the peace of mind that a victory is going to be here. Just so, just in case, like we're saying, anything can happen still, even though we have one more day after today. As those battles can go extremely unexpected. So a victory here for either Simp or 07 would be just huge into really making sure that they have nothing to worry about if the worst were to come. Fosta putting that cap pressure on that MT-25 has now been scared off, and photo finish in Delta Village getting picked extremely low in that IS-3 Crimson, pushing up toward the north here. And it looks like we've got 3 members going through. LTTB flank going, it might not be working out for him. It's a 1v3. See if he's going to decide to make it out indeed. Drynet's going to be the focus. 751 in that IS-3. He knows he's being flanked. He has to push on through, and it looks like he's going straight toward B-War and Commodore in their IS-3s. The question is, Who's going to come out on top? Dryness is extremely low. In that I3, Crimson Courser getting tracked. A quick repair, 437 damage. He's trying to get on his way, making sure he doesn't take any more damage than necessary. Taking the shot back and forth. Droxus picking up the first kill. B-War going down for the side of 07, and SIMP has a huge lead in HP now as one tank falls. On the side of the attackers, Droxus, another kill. Commodore going down. SIMP, a very wise push into those two IS3s, picking those one up, cleaning those up. And now 5 members remain. Makos is extremely low. Oh my goodness, Rocks going on the way through. 1,000 damage in that T-54. 1 or 2 more shots, he'll go down. Makos has to be careful too in that 1390. Brodus pushing in that 5100. He got extremely low himself. He's going to let Nitz go on up here and take some shots for him in his IS3. He's looking for Rocks, but Rocks going on the side. Let's see if he can pick up the kill. No, Brodus picking that one up just in time before he can take the shot on him. Makos now 1 more shot in his 1390. He's holding it because he knows if he lets it go without any damage, it'll be all for naught. It doesn't matter anyway. Nitz picking up another kill there, and it looks like SIMP should pick up this victory. Still not a single tank for the side of SIMP have gone down, and Droxus picking up Fosta. Warbander and Synergy are going down. 1 more shot. Synergy does find Overlord Prime just before he dies, and Droxus picking up Warbander. And once this tank goes down to Trident, it will be SIMP as the victors who have just lost only 1 tank there in the first victory of our second matchup of the night. David, this is the one, like I was saying, I doubled up on. I thought this was going to be one that goes long. It's the 17th point against the 16th point holder so far in the season. But it looked like SIMP has come to play. I mean, that was a very decisive victory coming out from them.
SIMP came out as a different animal last time we saw them play. I think I kind of woke up when they played Noble more often, or more than anything else. But even the last set against Refuse, they brawled it out. And they showed a lot of characteristics they hadn't shown in the rest of the season. Nothing particularly important to discuss in statistics. Synergy 3K and Commodore leading for 07, and Brodus and Nitz leading for SIMP. Dominant play by SIMP. 07 didn't have a terrible play, but they needed the 5100 there in the F-road to make sure that what happened to them didn't happen, that push directly down the road. And most of those shots had already gone into photo finish, which wasn't bad, but it didn't get a kill. So
it was bad.
It just didn't work as well as it could have. It's a different place you probably would have been able to put him. Or just leave off maybe the 1390 or something else from that northern push. I don't think 07 expected the north to be so empty is the problem. And if they did, it might not have been a bad idea just to short that corner in the north and come directly in behind the IS-3s and ended up pushing into the F-road, because there wasn't a whole lot else there to really stop them from doing it, especially with 2 LTTBs driving around. They're relatively quick cleanups for 54 lightweights in particular. Just a play that didn't go very well for 07, but I'm not sure if it's going to be indicative of the rest of the series to come. Even though SIMP is playing a lot better than they have been.
Now looking at what happened in the center road, those 2 IS-3s going down for the side of 07. If you were 07 in the instance, obviously they put, I think, 3 or 4 tanks in that F-road. SIMP did, they being SIMP. If you see that happening, is it just too late if you're 07 to find some sort of response, some sort of overmatch where you can, or did they just hesitate or drop the ball in that aspect?
It just comes down again to the kind of the failure of the strategy to work exactly how they wanted. Once the IS-3s had already been pushed down the F-road that far, there wasn't any pulling them back. So they couldn't find an overmatch because there wasn't really an overmatch to be had, and there's not enough time to really adjust in that situation. Probably one of the better things they could have done is perhaps wait until their 5100 reloaded
and then go in for it.
And then the northern push. But again, there's a lot of different details, a lot of variables, and that kind of thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, our second battle of our second matchup is ready. We are on the same side. SIMP up 1-0. Let's get right into it and take a look at. Actually, let's not get right into it because we have a DC here. We got to go ahead and exit the game. We're going to go ahead and reload those tanks in. We didn't get to see the lineup, but they will have to maintain the same one. Obviously, the players did get to see the lineup there. So a few more minutes, a few more seconds, and we should be able to get in here. Not quite sure who DC'd. Maybe we can get that later.
Droxus.
Droxus was the one to DC. And guys, it's not Androxus. I heard some of you guys saying Androxus out there. It's definitely Droxus. There's no N in that name. Come on.
I mean, who does that?
Who does that?
Honestly. While and I've been waiting to say this for so long. While it is easy to confuse him for an android with how precise and calm he is when he plays. There's no N in the name Androxus.
Oh no. Hopefully you're not going to start.
What have you done?
Hopefully you're not start saying it too. But kind of looking at their
if now.
if obviously the team was in the battle, they did get to see the lineups. Let's kind of talk again about if you do have a moment after you get to peak. Now you have more time to adjust and kind of see what they were looking at, who's going to do what. Do you think that gives each team more of an advantage, or it really doesn't matter because only specific lineups really dictate or sort of looking for broadcast what you're doing?
Only specific lineups truly broadcast
Okay.
what you're doing, but there are other things that can broadcast what you're doing. In this instance, you're discussing the two LTTBs.
Yeah.
They're on defense, and LTTBs, they don't really broadcast, aside from the fact that you have mobility, but they're not leading you into a specific strategy.
Okay.
Like Bulldogs would, because Bulldogs are very different tanks. They're not particularly great at sniping. It's the heat shell against a lot of the tanks they're going to be firing aren't that good.
Okay.
And the other shells they have just don't have the right penetration. So usually if you bring a tank other than say the WZ-130, 131 or the LTTB, then you must have a reason for it.
Okay.
And that's what broadcasts, because a team could bring in Bulldogs over LTTBs on this map, and I would have no idea what their overall plan is. I would look at it and be like, well, they brought two of the worst tier 7s out of the pool they had for some reason.
Good gun depression.
Yeah, I mean there is that, but it's not enough for the shortcomings of a tank like that.
Okay.
The LTTB, all it says is they're going to be scouting a lot, and it certainly indicates what you can do to them. But on defense, it doesn't say anything about what they will do.
Gotcha. Now, do you think we're going to see another team pull what Elevate did and just put those Tiger ones right in the F road and just because we haven't seen that since?
No, because it worked too well, and I think a lot of people probably studied it. Elevate may break it out again later, but they need to break it out against somebody that probably isn't high voltage or isn't maybe Refuse.
Okay.
Because I don't know if it would really work out. There's a number of other teams, but what it comes down to is you just have to get enough damage on the Tigers
and then
when they come down the F road. Well,
right.
now that I'm talking about it, probably not going to see it at all. So I'm sorry, guys.
That's
but
true.
Yeah, so
when
the Tiger ones are coming down the road, you have to do enough damage to them. Maybe kill them. You just don't want to get punished too much in response. You need to clean them up to the point where you can send in a small force of tanks to clean them out of the F road cleanly.
Just be done.
And quickly.
All
because
right.
it's all about how long it takes, which is what makes them so good there.
All right, well, let's see if we will see that or not. Ladies and gentlemen, the DC is done. We're back into the battle under Ruinberg. Same side. SIMP is up 1-0. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
407 trying to pick up their first win on offense, a 5100, 5 IS-3s and an AMX-12T.
Wow.
SIMP with a 110, 5100, 3 IS-3s, 2 LTTBs. Honestly, with the 2 LTTBs on the team, the IS-15 push could be a serious problem.
For 407 or for SIMP?
For SIMP.
Okay.
The LTTBs, they do okay at penetrating IS-3s.
Okay.
They're not great. You have to aim the shot a little bit too much, and it starts to detract from one of the bigger advantages of the LTB being its DPM, how quickly it fires. Against a lot of tanks like a 5100, you just basically click the instant you're loaded because it's going to penetrate. The IS-3, it might not, and even though the LTB has a pretty good gun, you need to baby it a little bit more. And the IS-3s, I mean, as SIMP themselves displayed, they're not the best tank overall. That shot he wore all the way down the road into Adroxus. Personally, for me, that's a nice little bit of karma, because Adroxus has done that to me, I don't know, 100 times.
Oh, I'm glad you're happy. I'm glad you're happy at seeing health go.
Sorry, Adroxus. B-War and Mako's taking shots out of the hill from Nits and Photo Finish, equalizing up that HP trade and then some for SIMP. Still maintaining a little bit of just basically a one-shot advantage here. Adroxus still kind of floating in the middle. Warbander is pinned in the middle, separating one IS-3 away from the rest. Was a dubious call at best. He cannot defend himself very easily. As you can see, we have one LTTB getting ready to come in behind him. Okay, maybe not. There we go. And he's just got shot in the face by Adroxus.
Wow.
Now he's getting wombo comboed in between Crimson and Adroxus. No matter where Warbander looks at this point, will be wrong. He either has to babysit Crimson. Actually, Crimson can take the shot on the chin and just DPN him down at this point in time. Which is, honestly, is worth a little bit of a dance. But honestly, Crimson, You had to know the overmatch you had there. Just kill him. It's an IS-3. You're an LTTB. Just get it done. There we go.
Oh,
Drox
picking that one up, and now a tank down.
That is a huge pickup for Simp.
But at the time, we're going through Synergy, finding Nitz. 5 more seconds, finally the shot going through right into the Droxes. The double tap, Foster goes down, and it looks like the tanks that are on the cap are not going to be there for much longer if they stay. 44 seconds, the reset's going through Makos. One more shot, and he will go down, doing his best to do as much damage as he can before he goes to the graveyard, taking some shots onto a Droxus. There it is, photo finish actually finding B-War in his IS-3. Commodore taking 182 points of damage there, backing off. Now just one tank remains for the side of 07 on the cap. 4 overall against Simp with 6. A Drox is finding Mako. Synergy picking up Crimson. 3 tanks, 2,900 points of health for 07 against 5,000 health on the side of Simp. A huge overmatch we've got here. And Simp, unless they throw this, should be able to pick this victory up as well.
Pretty much split. Although Simp definitely has a bit of a concave overmatch coming on here. Commodore is pretty much out there in the open, as you can see from the sky cam.
The sky cam.
Diagonal right down from the top right to the left. Nice little overmatch from Brodus and Overlord Prime coming in on Commodore. Synergy's trying to help out a little bit, but he just ran out, and it's only a matter of time till Overlord Prime closes in on Synergy, gets a full kill on him pretty much. Again, as we've discussed before, that is living the dream of an LTTP. It's free damage with a nice little drift and a clean up. Oh, Brodus stole it from you, Overlord.
Oh, sorry about that, Overlord.
How rude.
Simp picking up another victory there onto Runeberg, now making it 2-0 on our second matchup of the night. Really quickly, David, we were talking about lineups that broadcast. Is bringing the 5 IS3 something that broadcasts that you're going to be going toward the west, or is that still, or could they have taken them to the north successfully?
You can take them in the north. They'll just be terrible up there.
Okay.
And going to the east.
The east, yeah.
Aside from exactly how Simp did it, not particularly great. And in that instance, 07 put one in the middle, which is pretty much a free tank. Just doesn't have the DPM to defend himself.
Now
so
what?
Even 154, 1 with 2 LTTBs, whatever, they'll kill him.
Okay.
Done.
And we're talking about what Simp did when they pushed him up the F road, right? They just came over the top and just
they went southeast and then right up the 6 road,
okay.
And then over. Yeah, so it's like southeast and straight north and then east.
And that's the way to use it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the trickiest ways to approach the village because due to how the angles fire out of the village.
Okay.
So you're staying directly away from everybody's shot solutions. The only place you can really be shot from while you're doing it is directly down the 6 or the F road during that whole thing. Or if you go up and over the berm, then there's more. But you can sneak along it pretty easily and close that distance. And once you're on top of them, the IS-3s are mean.
Gotcha.
But from a distance, they're not nearly
as
good.
You just got to get on top of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, is anything in stats worth pointing out?
Not really. Drox is leading off his team, 4 kills, 2,000. Brodus right behind him with 1778, and Photo Finish with 1727. Synergy 3K leading for 07, but not a whole lot, really.
Okay.
For the rest of the team, so they just couldn't really find a way into the fight, although Commodore did the best of the IS-3s with 1,300.
All right. Now, looking at, like we were saying, Simp just looking like a different team than we saw him last time. Obviously, they have woken up. As you're kind of seeing as this develops, we're only 2 games in, but do you think it's going to keep going the way it is? I mean, does Simp just look like a different monster today?
There's a chance, but now Simp has to be on offense. And 07, even though they're probably hurting a little bit with the loss of Atrocity, it's still not a bad map for them to play.
All right.
It's anybody's game, honestly. 07 has always played down sometimes and then played way up to their actual potential.
Well, let's see who's playing today. Ladies and gentlemen, we've switched sides on Runeberg. Simp is up 2-0 against 07. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Simp with 4 IS-3s, 2 54s, 2 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37. Meanwhile, 07 with a 5100, 3 IS-3s, a T-54 lightweight, a Hellcat, and a Borsig.
All right. Now looking at the Hellcat. I think actually we haven't seen. I think the last time we saw the Hellcat was in Ghost Town, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe it was. And it was in Crimson Corsair's hands to an ultimately ill-fated match.
That is right. I believe it ran out of ammo. So now looking at the Hellcat's, the tank, its strengths, its weaknesses. Where do you think that tank's going to be going here?
That's a really good question. You're probably just going to be driving down the 0 line. So last time we saw the ISU-152, Arclet drove it, and he abused camouflage in the 0 line. That is exactly how, the only way you can play a tank destroyer of that type is how that was done. Using these rows of trees on either side of the road and trying to just let other people do the forward scout while you stay behind. But it looks like right now the Borzig is a little bit too far up. But SIMP bullying their way with 4 IS-3s directly into the Delta Village.
All right, Delta Village is in clear control of 07 right now. The question is going to be, can SIMP take that from them? Crimson Corsair starting to put that pressure on. Now, David, looking at the Waffle, the Roomba, the Borsig, whatever we've decided to call it, whatever you guys have decided to call it in chat, that tank is a glass cannon, in effect. If that pops out and it takes a shot from Delta Village and it gets tracked, or it takes too much, it's really gonna not gonna be good for that tank at all. Commodore is in that, and I thought the whole point of having Delta Village control when Northern Cap is popping out, taking a shot, and then backing in. So what is the Waffle gonna be doing here?
It's going to be doing exactly that.
It's more dangerous.
Prime, yeah. The question here is, how many IS? I mean, all these IS-3s are completely missing on Makos down there in the bottom right, and that very likely could have been an easy pickup for them. But now SIMP is in a little bit trickier of a position. Although they just lit up Warbander, and that's going to start making this plan come to fruition a little bit faster than it was just a moment ago. Drone is taking a lot of fire in return.
There we go. Warbander, though, 281 points. He's extremely low in that IS-3. The question is, who can take it down? Brodus, though. David, you call it, getting very, very low as well. And his tank, Crimson Corsair, a nice shot from Meadowhawk in that IS-3, dropping him way below half health in his T-37, having to back off that cap. Indeed, Synergy finding Crimson. Makos picking up Brodus. He is still alive down in that K0 position. Nitz finally finishing him off in his T-54. And now 5 tanks on the side of SIMP against 7 on the side of 07. Photo finish now getting in a brawl down there by the bottom of Delta Village. Drox is running on the way through. Nitz finds Fawcett, tying it up 5-5, but the HP is still heavily in the lead of 07. Over 1,700 points of damage. Meadowhawk picking up a Droxus. Another kill. My man racking up the fantasy points. Nitz finding Warbander, and now 4 tanks for SIMP. Looks like they're just going to try to find the overmatch, leaving Meadowhawk in the dust, making him come to them. Photo finish, though, is one more shot in his IS-3. Looks like they're turning to find Sentry. A shot going in. Commodore taking him from photo finish. Now about half health in that room. A Synergy is on the reload, so there's nothing he can do. He can just be a shield. He can just be a distraction. Nitz picking that one up, but it looks like from the back, once Meadowhawk is ready to load, no photo finish, skizzing around just in time. Commodore finding Dryden's there. A pickup for the Waffle, and now 3-on-3. SIMP clawing their way back, decreasing, I should say, that HP lead against 07, and Overload Prime picks up Commodore. Nitz finds Rocks, and SIMP looks like they're going to be able to do it, claiming another victory against 07, even though they were behind with such a high deficit of HP. Meadowhawk, though, finding Overload Prime. Did he set him on fire there?
Yeah, or an ammo rack or something. It looked like a fire, though.
Now it is a 2-on-1, though. Photo finish, and Nitz are extremely low. Meadowhawk doing his best to try to take it back on this 2v1. There's nothing SIMP cannot cap, so they're going to need to find Meadowhawk right now. The IS-3, every shot counts. Let's see if he can pick it up, or if Nitz and Photo Finish can finish this off. One more shot. Looks like another wire. Karma going through. He, though, is tracked himself. It is now an IS-3 versus an IS-3. Now, one more shot could decide it. The question is, who is it going to be? 193 on the side of Photo. 227 for Meadowhawk. Let's see if he's going to set him on fire again. Meadowhawk picks it up, claiming the victory away from SIMP. Now finding their first victory here on our second matchup of the night. Whoa! That was just someone brought a gasoline can and was like, let me just soak all these tanks before we start fighting.
Well, we got a new record for damage in WGLNA,
oh
I think.
My
Every
goodness.
time I say this, I always forget what the last one was. I swear I got to write it down. Like,
that's fine.
Tattooed on the
no,
inside
this
of
is
my arm.
it. This is it. I can say it confidently.
Stats.
Let's do it. Let's go. That was too good to watch. All right.
Meadowhawk earning you some points tonight.
Woohoo!
What? 11 shots, 11 hits,
up.
10 penetrations, 59 reset points, 4 tanks killed, and 37 40
Oh, man. Wow.
On top of it, he spotted 2 of them.
Those are the stats
Just
of a god.
what
Good job, Meadowhawk. This is why I put you on my
with
team.
nothing to sneeze at either. 27-88, 5 kills. His critical kill on the Borzig is the only reason they even had a chance there at the end. There was just enough time, just enough to where if he had babied his shot at all, the Borzig could have clicked him, and it could have been a lot of damage. I saw a couple strange choices of target selection there from Commodores Borzig, but he had a chance to do over 2,000 with the shots that he had. And made it a lot easier, but 2 fires in a row.
That was insane. That was just so ridiculous. Was that a fire? Yeah. Oh, was that a fire?
Yeah, man.
Anyway,
it happens. It happens all the time. A lot of the time, you don't even notice. A lot of losses. I mean, you can talk to teams afterwards.
Was because of fires.
And you just ask them simple stuff. And you're like, hey, what happened? They're like, well, a ammo rack or a fire or this happened. And we don't even notice it. The number of times where we've had, or I played where you had 2 or 3 tanks get lit on fire. Plenty. It's just very rarely does it all happen at such critical moments
when the camera zoomed in
where
on
it becomes so obvious.
That was such a pleasure to watch. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now ready for the next battle. Same sides. Let's see if 07 can tie it up 2-2 against Simp, or if Simp can claim another victory on Ruinberg. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
07 trying to pick up another victory on defense with a 5100, 3 IS-3s, a Borzig, a T-54 lightweight, and a Hellcat. Simp with a 5100, 2 IS-3s, an AMX 1390, 2 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37. As G-Forcer pointed out, I will always notice things like this, and it is the bottom 3 tier 8s for Simp are essentially lighter, faster versions of the top 3. IS-3s being an or T-54s being like a lighter, faster corollary of the IS-3.
Okay.
And the 1390 essentially being the same deal for the 5100, which it basically allows you to do, when you build strategies like that, allows you to think about things in certain ways, as in anytime you come across 154, you can put 2 T-54s on them, or if you want to hold a flank, you can maybe leave the 1390 or a 5100. It's just sacrificing some HP for mobility.
Okay, wow, the look at Simp coming over the top. Looks like they want Makos to not live for much longer. Overlord, photo finishing Crimson, but Makos picking up Crimson, leading him to his death. Photo finish, though, does find Makos. A 1-for-1 exchange there for both these teams, and now Overlord and Photo actually having a nice little shield there from their fallen ally to hold that the zero line. Shots going out for Warbander, more in return. Looking at Simp's positioning down there with Overlord and Photo Finish, I mean, is that a place where where that 1390 and T-54 can do work, or are they going to have to reposition extremely quickly?
They're going to have to reposition. The 1390 in particular is in the danger zone. Photo Finish could survive down there fairly well. Overlord Prime, he could kick a splash shell on the ground by the Borzig and take a lot of damage.
Okay. There we go. The Warmander, though, was taking a good chunk there in that IS-3, down to 314 damage. Photo Finish taking more shots into Delta Village, trying his best to make the best of his positioning there. Warbander having to be careful. Again, a tank down for both of these teams. It is now a 6-on-6 over here down below the northern or the eastern cap. We've got Droxus, Drynitz, Nitz, and Rotus with the side of Simp taking some shots on the Meadowhawk and Roxas. Droxus, 322 there. Now the position that he's in up on top of that hill, is he just vulnerable from where Rox, Fosta, and Meadowhawk is, or can people from the Delta Village take him out too?
Delta Village can't effectively shoot into there. They can kind of shoot him when he backs down, but in order to do it, they'll be vulnerable to the rest of Simp. Okay. So he is effectively, in practicality, safe.
Great.
Take a little bit of zoom in on that shot. It's from the side in particular. Let's see.
Oh yeah, nice little shield there. Look at that.
Just poking out just a little bit, but like I said, you turn that camera. Where do you have to be to get the shots?
Danger
Pretty
zone.
far forward in the Delta Village. Exactly. All the way up that road, giving the zero line. Great shots on you, so you pretty much get worked while you do it. You can hide in between the buildings and be safe from the zero line while you do it. But that just means that Rotus and Drynitz and Adroxus can all just stop and shoot you instead.
Right.
And then when you try and run away because they focused on you, you get wrecked by the zero line. So going after that guy, completely no bueno. I'm surprised that Adroxus actually hasn't done more damage to Meadowhawk and Rox where he is. He usually hits those roof shots very well. Although the tank has been altered a little bit, so those roof shots are harder to hit. And Rox and Meadowhawk are playing fairly slippery. Not a surprise to me they're not doing a whole lot of damage to Adroxus. Another ricochet there going to the moon. as if it didn't have enough craters already. And Adroxus, actually, it looks like he might be losing vision on them.
Huh.
As they are effectively using these trees. Nice. Nice. I haven't seen people really do that before.
There you go.
Then again, I believe there's a heck of a lot more trees there now than there were when I played most of the time. A lot of these maps, they're largely the same.
Go green.
But a couple little things can make a huge difference.
Sure.
Stuff like trees.
Now, the trees, they don't have a set position where they fall when you hit them, right? They will fall based on which side you hit them
direction
from.
you push them in, yeah. It's actually a nice little trick. Ooh, Drox is taking one shot, giving a shot in return. Anyways, what I'm saying, nice little trick is you can actually knock a tree down into the lane that you cover. So you can push it over to block, I don't know, like a gap between buildings.
Sure.
Like and effectively remain invisible. Meadowhawk taking another shot from Adroxus. Adroxus is also taking another shot. It seems like they've kind of figured out how to penetrate each other, or they're both just getting extremely lucky.
Oh, no, they've definitely figured out how to penetrate each other.
You are so lucky. 07, so much luck these past couple matches.
Well, but here we go. Simp trying to buy some time for the cap pressure. 10 seconds now left remaining for the side of Simp. It's going to be up to 07 to push on the way through and try to find the resets. But down the side, Fossa coming around. Let's see him pick it up. Trying to find synergy, but the resets going through. Meadowhawk and Rocks popping up. Let's see if that's going to be a trouble for Meadowhawk as he is extremely low. Adroxus will finish that one off. Finally, the IS3 battle ending there between those two players, but over on the side, Foster getting a nice side shot in on the photo finish. Rocks taking some damage himself, now having to back off here. Two Team 4s trying to find the overmatch where they can. Foster going down to Brodus. Now just 3 tanks remain for the side of 07. Simp still has, well, 5 now as Commodore picking up Tridents. Nits finding Rocks. It is just Commodore and Warbander, 2 tanks in the Delta Village against 5 members of Simp. And Simp should be able to claim this one as well. 1 minute and 22 on the clock. Commodore, though, picking up photo finish as he was on the approach. Overload Prime, though, picking up Warbander. Brodus decided to get off the cap. He's just coming to join the fight, making sure that Commodore can't go anywhere. Ram damage for Overload Prime, and Nits with the pickup. Simp taking another victory now, making it 3-1 against 07 on the Ruinberg. Finishing out the first map. Now we'll be going on to the second map of the second matchup of the night there. But David, looking at kind of what we saw there, Adroxus in that position where he was, just really kept 07. I think 3 members he held them there. I think Boss had to actually go all the way around. But I mean, that was how do you stop Adroxus from doing that, or what do you do in response to it?
Can't let him get in the window. And if he does, I can think of a couple different options in order to help kind of dig him out or make his position no longer valid.
You just don't let him get there.
You don't want to let him get there.
Okay.
And there's an approach you have to take to get there. And you can take a lot of damage on the way in. And that's the important part. Get damage on the way in.
Gotcha.
There's potentially some other angles you can get some better shots at him at. We can go to stats for a moment.
Let's do it.
2 players getting above 2,000. Rocks and Commodore. Commodore doing much better in the Borzig this time. And Rocks with 2,500 or so. With 6 penetrations in his IS-3. Meanwhile, Nits, Overlord Prime, and Brodus basically doing the vast majority of the damage. For Simp, although if you look at it again, it's very spread out with only Crimson Corsair not getting that much. But that's because he was essentially the sacrificial lamb in the 0 line.
Right.
He's the one who took the shells, which allowed both other, he's a screen, the unit, movement. All 3 of them went over at the same time.
Yep.
Crimson was on the closest edge to the rest of the team. He died. The other 2 used him as cover. Pick off the 54 down there in the corner.
Worth.
Done deal. A lot of small unit tactics coming out from Simp in this instance with how they're doing things. Like I pointed out, 2 IS-3s and a 5100, 2 T-54 lightweights, and a 1390. There are aspects of it's a kind of a classic combination of tanks. The two like brute force tanks and then a flanking autoloader.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of tactics that are very comfortable with people. You can split your group into 2 prongs easily. There's a lot of different things you can do with it that everybody understands. They don't need to be taught, and it's things they've been doing for a long time. It's very comfortable, very natural, and it's a powerful combination. And I like that setup, and I'd have to study it a lot longer to see if if for any reason it's not the best, but I like that kind of play a lot.
Well, Simp obviously liking it as well, and it did pick up a victory now. Ladies and gentlemen, Simp 3-1 against 07. We're into mines. Simp on defense, 07 on offense. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
07 on offense with an IS-3, 4 T-54 lightweights, a T-49, and a T-37. SIMP with a 110, an IS-3, a T-32, 2 T-54 lightweights, and LTDB. Okay, T-49, we haven't seen much of this season.
Yeah.
If at all.
I don't think we've seen it at all.
It has a monster gun with a lot of alpha if it hits.
Huh.
That's a big if.
Okay.
But in this situation, it also depends whether he's firing heat or HE. HE round with penetration will do a boatload of damage, especially on an LTDB, the one-shot LTDB if it penetrates. But right now, Fosta shopping around for that glorious heat shell. And nope, it's a HE round directly to the face of a Drox. 367, good enough.
Starting out 616 points there in that IS-3, having to back up at Fosta in his T-49, 577, getting dropped to half health. And we've got, ladies and gentlemen, a hill fight breaking out between 07 and SIMP. Who is going to come out on top? Magos in that T-54 getting a really nice shot around the top of the mountain there. Another shot going through. It just sounds brutal every time Fosta lets that one out. Brightness pushing over in that 110, getting extremely low. He's got to be careful because a couple more shots and he will go down. Fosta being careful over the prime. Total finish. Anadroxis getting extremely aggressive on the corner of the hill there. Let's see if 07 can respond. Over the prime finds Fosta. Makos responding by taking Crimson down. A 1-for-1 exchange. The HP though is in favor right now of 07. But as we've seen, that can flip extremely quickly. Photo finish getting absolutely ripped up as he tried to push onto the top of the hill with that G32, finding more banner. Droxis finding rocks, and now just six members on 07 against just 4. SIMP against just 4 on 07. Makos and Commodore finding double kills there, trying to tie this up, trying to claw their way back over the prime, getting extremely low. Makos dueling it out there. His shot actually not hitting. That could be death for him as Nitz comes around the corner. Makos looking for the shot. He does find it. Nitz getting the ram there. A nice pickup there on that T-54. It is now a 3-on-3. SIMP has the lead now. Adrox is picking up synergy, and if this continues in their favor, it looks like SIMP will pick up another victory against 07. Commodore is extremely low. The shot bouncing. 2 shots bouncing. No, not a single one. It's finally the shot going through. Nitz picking up Commodore. Metalhawk is the only one to remain in that T-37. Man, if all 3 of those shots would have bounced on that IS-3, that would have been such a day there for Commodore, but unfortunately not that
right
lucky.
Now. Metalhawk, 2 ammo racks in a row.
Yeah.
Maybe a fire, who knows?
Go.
Never doubt the Hawk.
Do it, Metalhawk. Let's see if he can as he wraps around the mountain. Brodus and Nitz trying to sniff him out. They are on defense, so Metalhawk is the one who has to find the damage, has to find the opening to take this victory. But like David, I mean, if he is to get 2 ammo racks on both of these, can he one-shot them?
I mean, if he ammo racks them and it detonates, that's inherently a one-shot. Yeah, it'll blow the tank
Great.
up, the turret flies
Here we
off.
go. Let's see if he can do it. Metalhawk finding the first shot. Nope. Just getting shut down. Super anticlimactic there for the side of 07. SIMP picking up another victory.
Dream was real for a moment.
Man, I was like, it's happening. You're so right. It's gonna happen. And then
No, I was totally kidding. There's
well,
such little chance.
Christian, I believe.
Really, it all went wrong there as Makos struggled a little bit too long with the LTDB. And it's not the initial thing. I don't want to put it on his shoulders. But that was the last tank, the last situation that really guaranteed that it was going to be a loss right then and there. If he had put down the LTDB, perhaps sold at 54 on top, then very likely could have won.
Okay.
And just not. Mostly the T-49, I would say. Not really holding its own weight. 2 shots, 1 hit, 1 penetrated with HE, but it wasn't a good enough penetration, I guess. 367.
Low roll. Okay.
It's weird. Yeah, just not a low roll. It's just it didn't actually fully penetrate. It's I don't know why it's saying that it penetrated in that instance, because it clearly didn't. Unless it's counting some sort of
there you go.
Some sort of module. But yeah, it does a lot more than 300 damage. I promise you. I promise you. If you get a proper penetration, it should do a lot. So Nitz and Brodus 1800, 1541 for SIMP.
Okay.
Again, all spread almost all over 1,000 except for Drynitz, and actually Crimson Corsair, who's an LTDB, who got wrecked pretty early.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, looking at the lineup that 07 was bringing that T-49, is that something that they went for that hill push? They went for the hill push right off the bat. Is that something where that has to make or break it for them?
The tank on its own is make or break. It either hits its shots for
Or
a
it
lot
did.
of damage,
Okay,
or
so
it was
that's
a waste.
That's where it went. Well, ladies
So-
and now we'll see if they bring that again, or if they're going to find a different lineup, because Simp just needs one more victory to clean out our second matchup of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, we're into mines the same side as last time. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tank.
Unfortunately, no T49. 2 IS3s, 4 T54 lightweights, and an M44. Kind of a better choice if you're looking for that kind of power shot. Simp with a 110 and IS3, a T32, two T54 lightweights, and 2 LTDBs.
All right, here, Overload Prime and his LTTB. Looks like he's decisively going over to the east. Not sure if he's going to try to wrap around. Now, David, is the LTB right now, is Overload Prime, like you were talking about, the LTTB being a very balanced tank. It's fairly fast, it's a fairly good gun, fairly good armor, so he can be used in really good flexing positions. Looking where this is going, where Overload Prime is going, is he looking for a flank right now, or is he just doing more of the spotting?
Overlord it's a both, so it's a flank spot.
Flank spot.
Technically.
A flot.
He also will create a situation here where he'll go for Fostikit and if 07 turns to deal with him, it'll ruin their mid-fight. If they don't, he'll get Fostikit.
All right, make or break time here for Simp coming up, because they are now dropping lower and lower as the HP now about even. More shots going through. Mako's doing a good job picking those ones up, but now Meadowhawk being focused down in that IS3, dropping to 328 points of damage, and Crimson Corsair with the kill. Now the tank going down 407. Mako's picking Cronus up over the Prime, finding Fosta. Back and forth kills here. 5 tanks for Simp remain against the 6 for Simp. Overlord Prime with another kill. Simp continuing this victory. They are low as far as each individual tank, but they've got the damage, they've got the guns, and they are going to use it as they're pushing up further on top of this hill. Synergy 3K, 192 points of damage. Another shot from the back. Crimson Corsair find that one. Overlord Prime picked him up. Looks like he took the M44's positioning. Rocks and Warbander getting 2 kills. It is now a 4-on-3, but the shots are up for Simp. Let's see who's going to take them first and which ones are going to count. Rocks, actually another pickup, another the LTGB now going down for the side of Simp. It is now a 3-on-3. Photo finish is extremely low. Mako's finding Nits, and 07 looks like they're going to clutch this one and bring this back, as it's just Overlord Prime against 3 members. Man, David, he is healthy though. If Overlord Prime can pull this out, and another shot in Rocks does not look good. Oh, this is going to be extremely close. It is just going to be one more shot for all these tanks. There's the first one over the Ryan Prime, picking that one up. This might be a triple kill and living the dream in an LTTB. He just has to sit and wait. 07 are the ones who have to make the move. They are on offense. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. Over the Prime just doing a little dance. And David, if you were over the Prime, would you just sit behind this rock and just wait?
Yes.
There
That's exactly what I would do. When they get close enough, he needs to, yeah, okay, there we go. He needs to back off and he needs to get some amount of spotting. That is a brilliant move by Makos, and that is what Overlord needed to see in order to make sure he wasn't getting caught. Now he's going to slip down into the 3 line, which gives Makos and Warbander another chance. As long as they play this right, they can definitely catch and kill Overlord. But if they get greedy at all, any simple mistake, a good shot from Overlord, and it all starts going wrong. They have 3.5 minutes to make this work. They should really
Plenty
use
of time.
every second of it if that's what they need to get it done. Oh, that last T54 there, getting a little bit ahead of himself, giving Overlord an easy kill. They're all one shot to the LTTB, no problem. It's got a great gun. Problem is depression. So if you can get him into a place where you can't really aim down, that's the perfect situation. Right about there. Warbander is not in the bush. I expected him to be.
Oh, he spotted.
How did that happen? He
The
spotted
spot?
Warbander.
Oh
Warbander didn't spot
my
him.
Goodness. Overlord Prime with a shot from across the way on top of the lighthouse, picking up the final, or the second to last tank for 07. It is now just Makos alive. This is looking now less and less possible for
I'm
07.
so confused about that spotting.
Where you mean how Overlord Prime got to spot
Yeah.
the T-54, but he didn't get spotted himself?
Yeah, something. A little gap in a bush, something like that. Makos making a power play. Makos has very little chance here.
Yeah, but yeah. I'm looking for, I'm thinking here's what's gonna happen. Overlord Prime missed the shot, then gonna get the ram.
Oh,
there, the shot
nice start
misses.
by Makos.
Here we go, a nice chunk of damage there going in from that T-54. No, Overlord Prime just sets it up and takes a shot there. A victory and the final clutch for Simp. 5-1 now against 07, finishing the second matchup of the night. David, just real quickly, if you were Makos there and you got that shot and the shot missed on you, would you have backed off in that situation? Would you have tried to reposition?
Absolutely. I would have kept trying to abuse the depression situation.
Right, you're talking about that.
To make him chase after you further, and then you get another shot in. I definitely would have tried to back off. But Makos with 2,000, Rocks with 2,000, so very spread for Simp, except for Overlord Prime with 5 kills and 1,600 damage as an LTTB.
Oh, living the dream there.
Yeah.
In that light tank. I mean, that's
a great game on Overlord Prime's part. Even having the composure to do what he did there at the end is something a lot of teams fail in, quite frankly. And he kept his composure, like we said, and brought down ending the dreams of 07 to bring back that match or to tie it up.
Oof.
And so with him, the dreams of me getting any amount of points on my fantasy team tonight.
You took a risk. Looks like it might not be paying off for you there, but a good victory. Congratulations, Simp, picking up that victory that they really desperately needed. Ladies and gentlemen, our second match is done. Match number 3 coming up right after this.